Well, good morning. And surprise, it's not Brother James. It's me today. Sorry he couldn't make it. He asked me to step in for him. It is my great pleasure to step into these very, very large shoes that he leaves here. And I hope that you can get a blessing today, something that he would want you to have. Let me start off with a little story. There once was a king who built a great highway. It was for the members of his kingdom to use. And after it was finished, but before it was open to the public, he decided to have a contest. He invited as many as who wanted to participate. It's up to them. Their challenge was to see who could travel the highway the best. Seems easy. Who travels the highway the best? So on the day of the contest, many people came. Some had great, fine, majestic-looking vehicles, and they proudly drove their vehicles down the highway. And others had fine clothing or big hairdos or big, sumptuous meals that they enjoyed as they tried to earn the prize of traveling the highway the best. Some young men came in their track clothes and they ran the highway, and others traveled all day long. But each one, when they arrived at the end, complained to the king. They complained that there was a large pile of rocks and debris left on the road at one spot, and that this got in the way and hindered their travel. At the end of the day, one lone traveler crossed the finish line. He warily walked over to the king, and he was tired and he was dirty. But he respectfully addressed the king, and he handed him a bag of gold. He said, "Sir, I stopped along the way to clear a pile of rocks and debris that was blocking the road for others. This bag of gold was under it. I want you to return it to the rightful owner." The king replied, "You are the rightful owner." The traveler said, "Oh, no, this is not mine. I have never known such money." "Oh, yes," said the king. "You've earned this gold, for you won my contest. He who travels the road best is he who makes the road smoother for those who follow." Sounds almost like a Christian principle, doesn't it? In fact, John told us in 1 John 3:18, "My little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth." What's he saying? He's saying, let's just don't talk about how much we love God and love others. Let's just keep our mouths shut and prove it with our attitudes. There's an old saying I heard, and I've heard many times since then. Your actions are so loud, I can't hear a word you're saying. Way too often that is true of us. So let me ask you a question. If you're a Christian, why are you here? You have a home in heaven. It's a wonderful place. You'll be with the Lord. Why are you still here on this earth? Does your life have a purpose for the here and now? And are you fulfilling that purpose? Jesus said that the second and greatest commandment was to love others. And along with the first commandment, these two fulfilled all the law and the prophets. And again, through John, he tells us that we need to do more than just profess our love toward God and others. We need to show it in our actions. We need to be showing what is in our hearts, the love of Christ, by way of our behavior. Our behavior includes our attitude towards others, the way we treat others, the way whether or not we help others. And like the Pharisee said, who are these others? He actually said, who is my neighbor? But let me just say, who are these others that we are to love? Well, family. That's easy. That's a given. Okay. What about friends? Yeah, we need to take care of our friends. We need to love them. We need to help them. We need to be there for them. What about those acquaintances? People you don't really know, but you kind of know. You know who they are. Sure, we can love them. We can do good for them. And then there's those people we just don't even know. People we just see along the way, the person at the gas pump, the person who serves us at a restaurant, the person who checks us out at a store. Just a passing, fleeting second. Maybe a word or two here or there, or maybe if you see them all the time, a relationship develops. Can we love them? Can we get involved in their lives? Can we see if we can help them? Can we show the love of Christ? You know, Jesus didn't limit himself to his family and his friends. Jesus ministered to those he didn't know. Jesus loved his this other group here, his enemies. Can you love your enemies? You ever heard the parable of the Good Samaritan? Here's a man who took his time and his money and invested in the life of an enemy. So what is acting like this? What does it prove? It's a genuine testimony that our salvation is real, that we have a new life, that we are truly, truly changed. The world needs to see this. They need to see a difference in our lives. In 1 John 3:19, John says, "And hereby we know that we are of the truth and shall assure our hearts before him." He said, when we do these things, we know that we're born again. We have assurance that we're born again. This is not earning salvation. This is something that assures us that we have been saved. And why is that? Because this is us behaving the way Jesus did. This is us acting out the way he lived in this world. This is us conforming to the image of Christ. This is us obeying the commands of Christ. You might think, well, if you ever have doubts of your salvation, take a look at your life and then take a look at your actions and see if you love others and sacrificing and doing things for others, not for your benefit. Something that only benefits someone else and actually costs you. These acts of love reassure us that we are in the faith. And it assures the world that we are in the faith and that our faith is real. Jesus expounded this even further in Matthew chapter 25, starting verse 31. It says, "When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on his left. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was an hungered, and you gave me meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee an hungered, or fed thee, or thirsty, and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger, and took thee in, or naked, and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick, or in prison, and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me. Inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me. What's he saying? He's saying those that are his, those that are born again, those that are saved, live it out, and other people see it. It comes so natural to them, the kindness, the love of Christ, that when they do it, they don't even realize they're doing it. When saw we thee this way, Lord? He said, every person you helped was a testimony from me. When you help them, you help me. What do? You feed the hungry. Many ways to do that. And there are many hungers. We feed the hungry. We give drink to the thirsty. You might say, I don't know anybody that's thirsty. Yeah, there's a water hose out there. It's not necessarily water they always need. There are other thirsts. It can be an act that satisfies a particular thirst in a particular life. It could be praying with someone. It can be taking care of some other need that you become aware of, a thirst that they have, paying a bill, or lending a hand with a chore, or mowing even their yard. It's meeting someone else's need, their thirst. You give water to. It's taking in a stranger is showing kindness to those who need to know that they have value, that they're cared for. It's tough being a stranger. Strangers need friends. Friends reach out. That's what he said. To take care of the stranger. Clothing the naked is more than just giving them clothes. This is more than just physical charity he's talking about. It could be, and it is often, but I think it's really seeing the nakedness of their soul, ministering to their spiritual needs, their hurts. And this takes your valuable time. It takes time to pray about it, time to study up on it, time to do it. Visiting the sick is absolutely that. But there are those who are weary of this world and its crises and its sin and its problems. They're tired of the sin that surrounds them. They're sick of it. Maybe that's us sometimes. But the sick need to be encouraged. They need to be visited as well as prayed for. Their loved ones need to be prayed for and visited. They grieve with those who are sick as much, or sometimes maybe even more than the one with the sickness. And we need to pray for and encourage them, be with them as well. And we certainly understand this in our COVID-plagued world. We have seen too much suffering. We have seen too many and lost too many loved ones. Those in prison need visits from Christians. They need letters. That's not all that we can do. Many are imprisoned by their own sinful habits. We can reach out to them and show them the power of God to break those sinful habits and have a real relationship in the loving arms of the Almighty and have a life that pleases Him and brings joy, peace, and all the fruits of the Spirit to their soul, satisfies those needs. Jesus said, you do it for somebody else, you're doing it for me. You say you love me? Take care of my people. Take care of others. Love them, and you're loving me. Lastly, he said on the Sermon on the Mount, and I know you'll know this, ye are the salt of the earth. If the salt have lost its favor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and be trodden under foot of men. Jesus says you're the salt. And if you don't do the job of the salt, it's not going to get done. Not only that, I don't have any use for salt that doesn't work. He says, ye are the light of the world. A city that's set on an hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father, which is in heaven. We must be salt and light, so that people will see God and Christ in us. If they don't see the love of Christ in us through our actions and our attitudes, where will they see it? Where else will they see it? Why would they believe the Bible if we who claim Christ do not live what the Bible says? So our challenge this week, it's the beginning of the week. It's Monday. It's usually Brother James' Day. He loves it. Our challenge for the week is let's ask God to open our eyes to the opportunities that God brings before us to be His witness to the world of what He can do in our lives, in the lives of people who put their faith and their trust in Him and turn them from a normal person who cares only for themselves to one who cares more for others than they do for themselves. And let that be shown through our actions. That's our challenge for this week and every week. Let's see, our challenge is to see, to open our eyes to see, and to take kindness and generosity and kind actions in the lives of others that God brings before us. Let's commit to do this, to take these actions and to do those things that God brings to our attention, the opportunities. Let's take them. Let's take those opportunities to be His witness to a lost world. And I'll ask you one favor. Would you please do me one favor? When God opens your eyes to something you can do this week, just this week, and then when you do it, would you put a comment back here? God told me to do this and I did it. And then tell me how you felt about it when you were done and what action you think it had in the life of the person that you were involved with. Let's look for the least of these in your path and my path this week. God bless you. Have a great week. Brother James should be back next week. The rest of our men will be on all week. Have a good one.